Hello, everyone. Hope that I can see some people here and keep holding until the very end of DefCamp. So today I'll be talking a bit more about the SOAR technology and where do we stand with it and how we can use AI for automation. Just short intro. So yes, I'm Filip. I'm cybersecurity automation evangelist, and I'm running a blog around it, so you can check it out anytime that you want. And as well, I'm part of the Snyk team, working on the enterprise security team. So let's start with the short walk down the memory lane, going back 2015, when the SOAR technology started to get some traction. So security orchestration, automation, response technologies, they were quite popular in 2015. It was like the new way how you can do security operations and automations. And the initial focus was all around automating security operations workflows. It had some orchestration capabilities, and it started to advance over time, so they arrived to a point where it was like low codes, and you can use only the UI to develop your automated workflows. There were some disadvantages as well. So I don't know how many of you know that usually a SOAR vendor, they'll come and say, we have integration for over 100 vendors. And when you start to build your automations, you would see that it would support only 5 or 10 actions. You're like, well, that's not that good. Let's build some custom actions. And when you start build those custom actions, you end up after a year or two that your vendor changed the API documentation, and you need to go back and change every automation that you built. Also, it was quite challenging to maintain it. Most of the organizations, they would need a huge team to run a SOAR platform. As well, I've seen many organizations that they would run over 200 automations, and half of them, they would do the same thing. And the other half, they wouldn't be even used for a year, which is not really effective. So then it came what we call platformization, where the SIEM vendors, specifically, they would try to address all possible domains in the cybersecurity. And SOAR, it was a good example for that. So SIEM vendors, they started to acquire the SOAR vendors. And as you can see, in 2016, so just 1 year after SOAR technology became really popular, IBM made the first acquisition. So they acquired Resilience System. And if we go forward, we can see here Rapid7 and Microsoft doing some acquisitions. Then we have Splunk with Phantom, Palo Alto with Demisto, and even the most recent one, which was Google that acquired Simplify. So probably you're wondering now, are there any SOAR vendors left out there? So of course there are. And our friends at Gartner, they thought, well, now the SOAR technology looks like obsolete. Let's come up with a new term for it. So they coined the term hyperautomation. I don't know how many of you are aware of this hyperautomation technology, but what it does, it's mainly the next gen SOAR. Of course, it integrates a bit better with the ML and AI, and it has a bit better integration with the full stack of cybersecurity, and it goes a bit further where it integrates with IT and DevOps. Here I put a chart to explain like what are the use cases of the SOAR technology. So where you can see it was all around security operations and security risk management. Where the hyperautomation, it covers all domains in cybersecurity. And as I was saying, most of these vendors, you will see they go even and do some IT or DevOps stuff. Most of these platforms, they are low code or no code, because when you want to automate something for your legal team or for your compliance team, most likely you won't find any developers there. So you would want them to use the UI and build automations. They have also really cool AI summaries and workflow builders. Some of them, they even cover every single API that exists for all the vendors. So if I put an example here, let's say I want to build an automation that goes to my EDR. If you go to your EDR documentation, API documentation, you will see that it contains over 100 different actions. And it's quite tedious to go all over that. So you can now just type a prompt, and the platform, it will pick the right API action and build a blueprint of automated workflow, which is quite cool and convenient. So we had SOAR technology, hyperautomation. Probably you're wondering what's next. So because we are in the age of AI, of course, it's something with the AI, and we want it as soon as possible. Just joking with the term. So let's see, why do we need a new term? As you may know, in cybersecurity, every time that there is a new feature to some of the technology, we are adding a new name. So it's creating a lot of buzzwords, and for the marketing in cybersecurity, it's quite easier to sell you a new technology, saying that it does something way better, way cooler, or even different. Here I'm presenting you also the hype cycle of the IT service management solutions, where we can see the SOAR is at the bottom. So it's obsolete before plateau. That's why probably you're seeing in the news a lot of vendors saying that SOAR is dead and that technology is going away. And Gartner, they said, well, we need something cooler. So they came up with the term automated incident response. Like, okay, we don't need the orchestration anymore. Like, let's fix that. Let's come with something way cooler. So I came with the term automated security agentic processes. Because whenever we talk about automation, we want it done ASAP. So when we talk about AI agents, let's take a step back and think what actually they do and how they can help us automating some things. So the AI agent, it's like the next level chatbot. So imagine like you have a personal assistant that is not just telling you when you can book a meeting, but it goes by itself, it books the meeting, sends invite, takes some notes, and is sending you back all that information. So it's taking a step further after the classic LLM. And I want to make comparisons here. So when we're using LLM, it's like writing an essay, and you cannot do a backspace, where the AI agent is giving you that possibility that you can start from scratch and write it again. When we're speaking about the cybersecurity space and how we can use these agents, I wanted to show you here the tool use pattern, because I find it's quite useful for the purpose that we try to achieve in automation. So an example is, let's say if you're asking ChatGPT something, it would go and check the information that it has, to which it learned, and usually the information is outdated. When we speak about AI agents, what we can do is that we can connect multiple tools that they go and grab the data for us. Because if you're doing an investigation of an alert, let's say, it comes from our SIEM technology, and we want to understand what's the asset behind, or what's the user behind. Then we can set up the tool to go real time and grab that information for us and bring it back. We can do the same for threat intelligence, or we can do it for getting some identity and access details. Next, we have the multi-agent pattern. And this one is my favorite, because here you can build your team of agents that do a specific purpose. So you can have an agent that is specialized in triage. You can have an agent that is doing just threat hunting, threat intelligence, or even incident response. When we speak about multi-agent systems, there are a few styles how you can deploy them. The first one is the collaborative agent. So this is, let's say, a team that is working on a project, and they all collaborate through the common goal, which in our case, it's resolving a security incident. The first one, I think it has some challenges where it's prone to those to provide wrong results, or it can it's hard to check, so you'll need to have the human element implemented somewhere. On the supervised agent, they see it as a security manager that has a team, and it makes sure that everyone is doing their job. So it does some sort of quality assurance on the work. And I think it's quite good in this case because when we speak about automation, we want to have predictive results. So then we can easier automate and take the next step. So it's one of the proposed architecture that it can be implemented. And the last one is the hierarchical. This one, you can see it as a corporate structure. So you have executives, you have managers, and they take it from the bottom and it's going on the higher level to oversee and guide them, the lower level agents. This one is quite good if you have your playbooks documented. Then the higher level agent, it will be your playbook for incident response, and is guiding those lower level agents what steps they should take next. If you want to play with this technology a bit, you can use some of the tools that are currently available. So here I listed some of the open source projects that you can find on GitHub. The first one is the Pro Agent, which is using N8N for automation. And you can connect it to OpenAI for all the prompts. You have the cybersec LM agents, which is using AutoGen. And if you want to be a bit more creative and create your own app from scratch on AI agents, you can use the LangChain. So now let's see if we take this architecture of AI agents, how we can use them for security operations. So here I created a structure on where you can put them. So let's say first is coming the triage agent. What we would want a triage agent to do for us. I wouldn't say to overwhelm your agents with too many tasks because they can start hallucinating or providing you prompts that they might not be accurate. So start with the simple alert grouping. So to tell you if the same alert triggered for different assets or an IOC triggered for multiple systems and so on. And you can do the simple enrichment, which is going and giving you back remutation data for IOCs, or just bring back all the asset data or identity data that you need. Once you have all that information, you can go to the next level. First, you can maybe split the alert if it's true positive or false positive based on the enrichment that you've done, and take it to the threat hunting agent. When I'm speaking about threat hunting, I'm referring to the reactive threat hunting, which means that it's engaged only during an incident. So it will do a blast radius. It will get the IOCs and it will check what other devices are affected in your environment. Or if you have your detections mapped to your TTPs, it can check what other detections they would match those TTPs and maybe provide you some behavioral analytics. Once that is all done, we can send it to our response agent, which is doing all the remediation for us. That means that it will create maybe change requests for our infrastructure teams. It will go to the EDR and isolate the host or improve some of your security controls as part of the remediation steps. Quite important is to have constantly your feedback loop, because with that, you can make your agent to constantly learn from the incidents that they're seeing. And when it's about the feedback loop, I wanted to show you as well the process that you can use to create a better or improved feedback loop. So what I did here, I tied all this process to the incident response where you can see on the left. And then we have the detection engineering. So when we are preparing for an incident, the first thing that we would do is check if we have the right detections. Then we would go with the development of those detections and do some breach simulation or emulation where we do the testing. The next is to build your processes and procedures so you know how to respond on all the detections that you've created. And the last one is try to implement at least one type of automation for all the detections and processes and procedures that you have. And you're feeding that back to your incident response process constantly, so you can improve with every alert that you're seeing. And I think it's quite crucial to have all this process baked in and well developed, because if you don't have your processes and procedures for incident response, then your LLM won't be trained on your environment, on your infrastructure. It'll be quite challenging to get accurate results. So what the future of security operation is bringing to us. So there's a lot of buzz around AI for SOC. And what I want to stress here is that AI for SOC, what currently offers is mainly tier 1 analysis. So it's mainly covering all the triage, enrichment, and so on. Where we would want to arrive with the AI agent is that we have end-to-end flow that is fully automated, and agents are speaking to each other. As well, we should always consider where we're putting the human element. I think it's quite important that we have fail-safes implemented after each agent, probably, because it's really easy to create a domino effect that one agent, it starts to do something wrong, and then it's passing the information to the next agent, to the next one, and you end up with all your EDRs isolated and no one can do their job. So think how you can implement the agents, but also think where you can put the human in all this process without disrupting your day-to-day flow, in other words. Yes, that was all that I prepared today. I wanted to check if there are any questions.
Thank you for the presentation. Quick question. So you're saying that ideally in the near future, AI will be very much involved in this, but is it actually AI or is it a huge LLM based and trained on the internal network company assets information? How is this actually going to play out? Because from what you explain in the later part is that these agents and the feedback loop should also include human intervention or a human touch to adjust them.
Thank you for your question. I would say that AI agents, we should see them as something that can empower the analyst, not replace them. So we shouldn't see, like in the early days, automation was promising, oh, they'll eliminate all the tasks, they'll eliminate the analysts, and we won't have any security analysts anymore, and it will be just engineering. We should see it as that they can actually make us work faster, smarter, and then we can concentrate on building technologies that they can prevent and detect attacks faster. So yeah, I think the main thing is not to see them as replacing us, but it's more empowering us and learning how we can be better at prompt engineering and how we can teach the agents be relevant to our technology rather than using something generic that someone put out there.
Awesome, thank you. And there's another question over there on the side, and then we're going to take the middle.
Thank you. I want to ask you your opinion on what's the biggest challenge for SOAR development right now?
Yeah, that's a good one, and it's quite popular one because SOAR, it has many challenges, and I think that's why the technology didn't become widely adopted, and it was challenged to adopt. I think the main challenges is that we don't have the right processes for SOAR technologies. Most of the peers that I'm speaking and companies that I've seen, they bring SOAR technology, but they don't have any process behind. So they just try to automate whatever it comes first to their mind, or they just give it to the analyst and they need to figure it out. So I would say the biggest challenge is we don't have the right processes. And it will be the same with the AI agents because, again, we will build something that will be generic, it won't be accurate for our environment, and we won't be able to produce some return on investment after we implement these technologies.
Awesome, thank you. And I think we had another question over here. Yep, the mic is coming your way.
Thank you. So what I want to ask was, are the notions you presented purely theoretical, kind of a white paper, or have they already been implemented?
Good one, and I don't know if I mentioned in that they are already implemented, and you can see it with some of the AIs for SOC vendors that they're currently available on the market. So they have some decent implementation, and with the open source projects, so you can go and try it yourself. It was a talk right before this one where colleagues from UiPath, friends from UiPath, explained how you can actually do it today. What I want as well to add that this is a new technology, so you shouldn't consider that as soon as you implement AI agents, you will see huge difference or process, or it will work from the first time that you put it in your environment. With every new and emerging technology, we need to consider that we need to learn and fine-tune it as we go. So, yeah.
You said they were open source. Can you tell me where to access them?
I think the slides that will be shared afterwards, one that you can try is called Pro Agent, and you can check the project on GitHub, it's available. And it's around RPA and AI agents, but you can apply it to cybersecurity quite easily.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Awesome, thank you so much. If there's no further questions, oh, there's one over here.
I saw your solution as an add-on for classical total security solution provided by some antiviruses. So which will be the impact in the future between your solution and the classical antivirus, anti-malware solution available on the market?
So if I get that right, you're asking if the current solution, how it's affecting the AI solutions, how they're affecting the traditional EDR and antivirus and so on. So I would say, at least I have seen this with the SIEM technologies. Most of them now, they implement some of these functionalities baked in the product. So the most common is the AI summaries. So each of the solutions now, if you want to go to your EDR and you want quickly to understand if something was affected, you have an AI summary where you just drop a prompt and it will return you a summary of what really happened. So I think that's as far as they go and where they want to implement. Where they're leaving some space for vendors, they'll be pure play and they take just the AI agent to the next level. The thing is with all this AI technology, if you're just adding additional functionalities on top of it, in the back it's still just separate infrastructure, separate systems, so you don't get that seamless experience that you're working the same platform. It's like jumping from one tool to another. So unless they redesign it from scratch and they build a new product that really is based on AI, I don't think so it will drastically affect. It will just bring you some additional features that you can use like day to day.